As-Salam,
Absolutely.
Latif, Al-Sufian, Muid.
Here.
This is the greetings on the land from our ancient orders, passed down from parent to child before Christopher Columbus came.
Beautiful.
We back.
We back.
That's all that we can say.
Lord.
The Al-Sufians of the South, we back. We open the name of our divine creator, Al-Sufian, according to the Al-Fatiha and the Al-Sufian. And the 10 plus 1, and the covenant, the law, the way, all praises. But we done came a long way.
Oh, yes. Got a mighty way.
We done came from God. We done came from Most High. Well, the toast. We done came a long way.
Long way.
From Jesus to Jesus. Oh, yes. We talking that land talk. Oh, yes. We talking that land talk before all the crimes were committed. We are the people of the Al-Sufian. And there's a status at hand that we need to address and make an announcement. We are the people of the Al-Sufian. Now, it's time for us to understand what happened to us. There were crimes committed on our land. Egregious crimes. Egregious. We kind of don't know about it, but let's bring it to the forefront. It's called sacrilege.
Sacrilege?
Sacrilege. So when somebody does something that's sacrilege, they become sacrilegious. So we're going to get into some of those crimes that have been committed to all of the people on the land of America, and to the original people, especially, who are under attack as we currently speak by statuses of identity such as Black, Negro, African American. These are not true and divine identities. These identities was forged by the criminals who committed these crimes. All nations that are members of the United Nations have committed severely extreme crimes to the people of America on the land of the Americans. To the Al-Sufian Americans, the following crimes have been committed: sacrilegious, forgery, fraud, libel, fraudulent activity, perjury, counterfeiting items,
Oh my goodness.
bribery, blackmail, extortion,
Good goodness.
obstruction of justice, tampering with evidence, identity theft, forging documents, money laundering,
Oh my goodness.
insurance fraud, Ponzi schemes, insider trading, grand larceny, theft, treason, cyber crimes, hate crimes, and intellectual property crimes.
It's everything.
Through malediction, vandalism, property damage, and all disturbances of our peace. As-salam.
That's a lot. I believe that'll cover Rico.
So our remedy, because these criminals have not provided any remedy,
That's right.
any restitution, and they keep committing crimes.
My goodness.
So our responsibility is to find our remedy through our divine creator, Al-Sufian, Allah, Aha. Now we have to understand all that was said. This is why we don't know who we are. But today we make it revealed in plain and public dominion. For all people to be under the remedy is to be under the people of the Al-Sufian. All blacks, Negroes, African Americans, those of Asiatics, those Asiatics of America. So while these crimes have been committed, there has been serious actions of repercussion that has been done to us. We are victims due to the injury of divine law. We are victims due to the injury of divine law. And through the injury of divine law, it is certain that we shall be redeemed. Our redemption is our remedy.
Beautiful.
So we got
Beautiful. Just the thought alone with the action is back. Beautiful.
one of the major crimes of intellectual property is what we have on the screen, and let me present it.
State your case.
Tampering with evidence, our intellectual property. This is called eugenics. Eugenics is a term describing any social and pseudo scientific philosophy
Oh my goodness.
which advocates the benefits of improving the genetic qualities of a species through the promotion of selective breeding and reduction in the population of the species of the organisms considered less desirable.
Oh, wait a minute. Less desirable. I don't like that.
This is what blacks, Negroes, African Americans, those of Asiatic descent have been severely violated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
To tamper with one's DNA, to tamper with one's genetics
Mm-hmm.
is a crime. Next understanding of eugenics is the process called vaccination.
Mm.
Under Canon 4950, vaccination is society-wide policy promoted by the Roman Sabbatean elite.
Mm.
That's not good news. These are the criminals being named by the Roman Sabbatean elite since the 18th century, whereby the population is forced to be injected with vaccines to debilitate, not to increase, improve, get you to the creator, but to debilitate, take away your abilities. This is what the properties of the vaccination are. Properties that take away your ability to think, your ability to learn, your ability to reason. We walking. So I need for you to think alone. These debilitations reduce cognitive awareness, aka put you under the sleep, put you under anesthesia, and forms of civil unrest. None of these things are creator rights. These are man-made policies promoted by criminals
When you said vaccination, all I could think about was that COVID-19 and all the majority of the people were vaccinated. And then hearing this, what you just said, red flags ought to be up in everybody's mind to hear something of this magnitude. This powerful here. What she's saying, I don't know whether people paying attention now. This is powerful stuff. I get the flow.
Beautiful. As-salam. Due to these vaccinations and due to these processes of eugenics, not only do a psychology come called black and white, but also a virus is attached to this psychology, including black and white, as representations of self-concepts. as concepts of self. These crimes have created what is called a mind virus. So let's get a little informed. Article 12 under Canon 760. A mind virus is an infectious, pathogenic, information-based agent. So we know infectious is not good. So this virus that only attacks your mind is very infectious. It's pathogenic, meaning it's full of diseases. You see the gene in pathogenic.
Yeah.
See, this is eugenics,
Yeah.
connected to eugenics, the pathogenics, the eugenics, information.
Yeah.
So not knowledge.
Yeah. This was scared.
Not wisdom.
Yeah.
Not understanding.
Good goodness.
But some properties of information, what we just stated, that debilitates you, reduces your cognitive awareness, and basically is a mental amnesia.
My goodness. Through
what they call it, anesthesia. It was on the tip of my tongue. Anesthetic information. So this information puts us to sleep. It's an anesthetic. This is what they call, or what they use in the hospital when they finna put you under surgery. So as Genesis, remember gene, genetic, pathogenic, eugenics, Genesis, Adam is put to sleep.
Yeah.
Am I right or wrong?
Oh, come on with it. I'm enjoying it.
So now this is how information-based agent. Agent means just like in sports, a free agent.
Yeah, free agent. Yeah.
That can replicate itself inside of your mind.
That's correct. Come on with it.
It can drop off eggs.
Yeah.
Like little creatures.
That's right. Come on.
Causing abnormal conditions. Affecting the mind, then the body. See, this is what happens. All these things, these processes, these man-made solutions. Yeah. Is against the laws of the Creator. And they haven't informed, see, information-based. Yeah. And they were never informed. Yeah. So all this that is included in the mind virus is the black and white, Afro-American, Negro, black, color, Christianity, God, devil. All this is in the mind virus. This is the information base. Everything that was coming out of Genesis was part of the eugenics. So we have to be keen when we read in text filled with sorcery. So this is why it's important. While a state of mind may be severely restricted in performance, temporarily or permanently.
Permanent. My God.
This is to bring death to the mind.
That's correct.
Remember, as Al-Salam, Al-Sufian, Mu'id, our mind never dies. So the criminals are doing the opposite.
Yeah.
Bringing about information.
Mm-hmm.
All this is information based.
Yeah.
That's destroying your body.
Yeah.
Health connects to the body.
Yeah.
So if your body is not in a good, healthy condition,
Mm-hmm.
where you're not always feeling positive, is because these mind viruses called forms.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get in deeper as we go into this mind virus. This is why what's blocking, this is what's called blackening.
Yeah.
A blackout in the mind of the people on the land of America.
Right. Enjoying it.
So we know they want to permanently.
Yeah, that ain't good.
They don't want this temporarily. That's why everything keep advancing.
Can
keep
I
going.
just raise my hand here 1 minute? God knows I hate to interrupt.
Oh no,
so
keep
good.
flowing.
But all I could think about, because see, I've been around 74 years, and all this you're reading, it's been going on within my 74 years. And when I was born, this is what I found. It's what you're reading. Now, I deeply, that disturbs me.
Right. See, because remember, they want to reduce our cognitive awareness. They want us to forget.
Well,
so we need the vocalization.
Well, that's what not happen now, because all we doing is singing they Star Spangled Banner, pledge allegiance to the flag, listen, waiting on information that comes from Capitol Hill, waiting on information that comes on the TV. I mean, what else you could say and put it clear as day? I get the flow.
Mm-hmm. And it's all a part of what we bring in forth as their war strategy.
That's right.
Of psychology.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be going in it. So when we're dealing with the mind virus, we now dealing with what is called, we call it in the South, reverse psychology.
Yeah, that's what we call it.
So this is what they did with the information.
Yeah.
They reversed, check this out, our philosophy. Al-Sufian is our religious philosophy. See, we didn't never have what people have today when you go to cities, where you see lights, buildings, on grids. We didn't operate that way. Our divine law was a philosophy. So all of us carried this philosophy, but it wasn't written down. It was orally transmitted from parent to child. This is how we get into moral sciences, which this other, the haters and the criminals don't know nothing about. See, because in their psychology, it's okay to be a criminal, to plunder, pillage, and steal, and lie and cheat to innocent people of the land who openly welcomed you in. If you had ideals that could have helped, we openly accepted these from the past to the present. And our character has not changed. We are still open, understanding people. So now, as the Creator is stepping in, direct intervention, it's time for his people to come to him. But this is why we got to first purify ourselves. And we're finna get to it. By purifying this mind virus, by understanding there is a mind virus. And once you understand It's only one thing that kills and reverses mind virus. So let's continue. These mind viruses are diseases, mental diseases. We're going to make this simple after I finish reading. Affecting the biological apparatus of the mind. Did we catch that? Yeah. There's a biology of the mind that these scientists, chemists are creating to biologically attack our mind. So you got to peep game now. The only valid pathogen of diseases of the mind are mind viruses, not biological. So how you fix this is by going in your own mind, and as we would say in the South, house cleaning. Beautiful. It's time for a spring cleaning. Nothing that you don't want should be allowed. Let's get some more. Mind viruses are found in almost every class of men and women in every civilization. Due to this long history of lies, this is what simply a mind virus is when your mind is filled with lies. This has happened in every civilization, and the most abundant class of lies affecting the optimal function of individuals and health of society, our communities. Now, this is the military strategy. So we gotta lean in. Self gotta lean in. This is the military strategy on each of us upon our mind. Yeah. The function of a mind virus, here we go, is to implant a disinformation agent. That's called a lie. To implant a lie known as a nexus. A nexus. Think about it like a fishnet.
That's all I could think of. Nexus.
A fishnet made of lies into the mind of a subject.
Good goodness.
It's that military talk. And for the nexus, for the lie to replicate, reproduce itself, in part or all of itself.
Oh my goodness.
So it can splinter in parts, or the whole thing can stay whole and just grow. All of itself internally into the new long-term memories. This is where it's key at. This is what the lie becomes if you don't do nothing about it when you receive it. If you let it sit in your house, it stays. You got to move it out. So the same with the lie introduced into the mind. That if you don't move it out, it's going to become a long-term memory. Remember, and this is an implant. This is not real. This is an illusion. It's being stored as a memory. And now it can be expressed. This is how the mind virus is infectious to others. That memory can now be expressed, information to others. Now you're expressing that lie to others. So they discovered Christopher Columbus. They discovered America. Expressed lie to others.
My goodness. All I could see was, what's the perfect vehicle to get these lies across to in everybody's home? A TV. And And that's a good instrument to use to get that across and get it to the world fast and quick, like a jumping jack flash. Man, we're dealing with a dangerous situation here. What my ears hearing. I mean, I already
That's
do.
why we finna
But go ahead, sir.
continue breaking this down. Then we're gonna enter our theological doctrine and legal doctrine, and it's gonna tell us exactly what we need to know.
Yeah.
So our answer and remedy is in our theological and legal doctrine. Now, this is the remedy to the mind virus.
Okay.
We're going to jump to the remedy. Canon 769, as a valid clinical disease of the mind related to one or more mind viruses. Mind viruses can be cured only by the appropriate antidote of truthful knowledge.
Yeah.
The remedy to the mind virus is that mind viruses can be cured only by the appropriate antidote. See, it's not medicine, it's not pills, and it's not bills. That's going to relieve you. It's going to be truthful knowledge. We've been covering this. We know the truth make you free. We just went over knowledge is liberation. As fire causes cooking. Knowledge is the truthfulness that destroys all ignorance, called lies. So I want us to see for ourselves that this is the psychology of ignorance. Now we done track ignorance down by its psychology, so it can't go nowhere no more. Now this is the psychology of ignorance right here. Ignorance uses something called psychology. Check this out now. Psychology is a term used to define an elaborate and false mind influence system. That's a mind virus system. Purporting to be a science. That's how it's tricked people. Psychology is purported to be a science, but in truth, it's an elaborate false mind virus system. Not a science in the study of the human mind, human behavior, and animal behavior. Instead, this is what they say the enemy. This is what he does. This is what he's using. Psychology. Instead, psychology is a complex mind virus dedicated to the edification of the ancient mind virus of the flesh.
My goodness. My goodness, has been studying this for a long time. Goodness.
So I just wanted us to see that is documented elsewhere
Oh,
of how to destroy
yeah.
any population.
I'm not lying. Yeah.
This stuff is crafted out. It's written down,
I ain't
can be
lying.
passed down.
Yeah. Now,
And people just, all they got to do is follow the rules of it.
that's what we're doing now. What's going on in life? They take over your life with that.
Mm-hmm. So that's what they did. They used psychology to reverse our philosophy.
Yeah.
An opinion is psychology. A thought is a psychology. A psychosis is a psychology. A disease is a psychology. What's important that we need to know that all this could be cured because it's not based on the body. It's based on how you use the knowledge of mind. If you could just get knowledge in the mind, it will cure all diseases and reverse all sorcery. So we should be able to see now all illnesses are thoughts. This is what they didn't want us to know. They want you to think it's a body. It's your body going bad. The body is the result of the mind. If the mind going bad, the body going to go bad. Remember, these implants of the lies become stored, called a memory. And this is where you think you be thinking from. But you are not thinking. That's not thinking. When you have stored memories and they appear and you use your mind to engage in those, that's not thinking. That's believing. See, and this is what we have to understand. Our people have confused believing and thinking. So we have to re-engage into the truth of what thinking is, what belief is, in order to correct our illnesses. So there's something they use called medicine. What we need to know about medicine is that medicine did not come from no pharmacy. Most of today, everybody is on some type of drug. Even children is on drugs. Even adults is on pills. Why is this phenomenon appearing? because of the mind virus, the information based lie. See, and they don't want you to know this. Health is got health is related to your conscience. So we're going to see that the main way they was able to bring about this big change was called the ineffable name doctrine. What is an ineffable name doctrine? Before we read, in short, this is how we lost our identity. There's a saying that says, if you change the name of their God, the people will forget who they are. And so, of course, that comes on the other side of the fence. Then we're going to get to who made all this. All right, let's read. Now, this is just an AI overview. The ineffable name doctrine primarily refers to the Jewish tradition of not pronouncing the name for God. This is where the psychology begin to change your philosophy. This tradition stems from a belief that God's name is too sacred and significant to be uttered out loud. And that the true name is something beyond human capacity to speak. Now, isn't that really, really funny? These people who calling themselves under the descent of Jewish is the makers of these rules to your mouth. This is his thoughts about your mouth. He wishes you would never utter the divine creator's name out loud. So you can always what? Be in bondage. So there's been a whitewashing in what I call a philosophy. They've been washing out our philosophy, or philosophy, to destroy our memory, our remembrance of who we are. Because through our remembrance of who we are, we will automatically know what existence is. And this they could not do. See, so they started creating eugenics things to now start reducing population and selective breeding, black and white pitting, giving you different books now. This is why the Bible comes in. He ain't gave you nothing, but he gonna give you something holy. Just really think on that. And what he gave you, you would think. See, you would think that thought. But that thought would not be true. This is very big. This is why the name of the Creator is not spoken. And we got all this evidentially right now. So they hid and said things like, we're going to hide God's name in a language that only we know. And that way, when they want to know God's language, they got to come to us. So we talking about the middleman. So middleman ideology is being created, where there was never no middleman in our religious philosophy. This is the big upsetting of understanding why they had to introduce psychology. Let's continue. Ineffable, they say the divine creator name is ineffable or unutterable. These terms are used to describe the divine creator's name, reflecting the belief that the divine creator name is beyond human ability to pronounce accurately or fully. The prohibition against pronouncing the divine creator name is thought to have originated in the 2nd or 3rd century BCE. This is how long they've been trying to wipe out us saying the creator's name. Substitution. So now there's something called replacement theology, or replacement of your own particular beliefs. Now they substitute the divine creator names and put terms like Adonai, put terms like Elohim. And these names are not the creator's name. These are replacement theologies. In essence, the ineffable name doctrine is a cornerstone. Is their cornerstone of their Jewish theology and practice. See, we finna show you who these people really are. Get these out the way. See, so since our religion was a religious philosophy, meaning it was in our mind, they had to sit around long years around the square table and to begin to say, how can we get in these people's minds and begin to give them a replacement in their mind. So that's when they came up with called replacement theology. So this is where they use a theological belief that the church, the Christian, has superseded and replaced everybody, including Jewish people, as the chosen people of God. This is where it's key at. This is how they crept on your land, chilled around you long enough to pick up on that you care a lot about your creator. So they plotted to create a theological belief that would supersede your people and replace your people with their people, your mind for their mind, swap minds. That's it. That's replacement theology. What we're saying, that's all the mind viruses.
They're saying like the black people are replacing all white people in head positions, and they trying to take over.
Right. All that is sarcasm. All that is mock trialing or mocking. All these are strategies to steal and confuse your mind. So, what is the Creator's name? Because we already know now that Yahweh is not old enough. And it comes at a later date of time. So anything new is not true. So before all this replacement theology, before all this mind viruses, before the eugenics, before the vaccinations, before all the crimes that were committed by these criminals, on the American soil that we call Asia, Asia, we knew the Creator by name. And we always called the Creator by his divine name. So we have to understand this comes pre all your religious texts. This is before your Bible. This is before the Quran.
Come on with it.
This is before any Buddhism, Hinduism. Before there was an India, there was Asia, Asia. And Asia was so large that it had a major and a minor. And across the land, from major to minor, we knew the divine Creator's name. So that was the act, what you call the war in heaven. It wasn't about above, it was on the land. Heaven was our land, called Asia or America. So on our holy land, this is where the word holy come from. When we say our creator, holy be thy name. That word holy is the word ALLAH. We have to understand that our divine brother, Jesus, knew throughout his whole lifetime was saying the Creator's name. This is why it opens up as our Father who art in heaven, hallowed, holy be thy name. That word where it said hallowed or holy, that would have been ALLAH. If they would have kept it pristine and not become criminals through forging documents, through forgery and fraudulent activity. Our Creator in heaven, holy be thy name. Since now we have pronunciation issues, we don't know that the spelling of ALLAH and the pronunciation of the word holy is one and the same. This is why you say holy or hallelujah. Hallelujah. This is why they have, again, Hollywood on your land to let you know this is the sacred land of the holy people. So the things that we call good for you, we call halal. That's holy. Halala. Alala. Holy, holy, holy. That word HOLY would have been ALLAH. Rendered into the form of English today, given the King James Version, is rendered HOLY. This is why we have to understand why we've been saying hallelujah. That's just a slighted off pronunciation of your Creator in His glory. These are tones, vibrations you were singing across the land from major to minor. And so this what was taken away as your religious philosophy, and you was given a replacement theology. So now all that I was just saying, that's being replaced by this current theology you hold in your mind right now. Everything that you got in your mind right now came from this original oral tradition that is being returned the way, the truth, and the living law. So now we're going to go into the divine name. Now, the purpose of this divine name is to be your liberator. If there's a problem in your life, this is your liberator. If there's something need to be done, this is your liberator. If you got yourself into something that you wish you got yourself out of, and you of Asiatic descent, this is why we Asiatics, because our land is Asia. And so understanding that American is not the true and original term, but today we known as the people of America, the Americans. But the Americans is what describes your body. It doesn't describe and when I say body, that describes your body connected to the land. Body and land go together. So let's say if you come from heaven, if it's true that you can come from heaven, that means you got to land somewhere. If you descend from above, that means you got to land somewhere below. So where the soul lands is called its body. And its body is connected to the land. And so since this lie has been told, now it's called America. The truth be told, it's called Asia. 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 All are. So these things, when we are talking about your soul, this is what's different than your body. Your soul didn't come from the body. Your soul came from the light of the stars. The light of the stars is above. For you to come below, this is living law, not dead law, living law. You picked something up, you picked it up. You broke something, you broke it. This is the living law. So if you was the light of the stars above, and the story is that you came below, then you would have to be a matching description, because it's the living law, meaning as above, so below. So if you was a star above, you should be a star below. So your 5 points is your star of your body to prove that your soul came from above. So the soul is not identified with the body. The soul is identified with itself. The soul births itself, or births its opposite. And this is how you land into a body for a purpose. So this is what's called Al-Sufian. The Suf, S-U-F, represents the self, the soul that came directly from the Creator. This is the misidentity crisis. This is why you can't understand why ancestry and genealogy is important. This is why they did eugenics, because genetics is important. Who you are as a species is important, because we have to understand the reality of soul knowledge. With the mind virus, you have no contact with soul knowledge. For soul knowledge is truthful knowledge. This is where it's all based on when it comes to the divine creator. It's soul based, not body based. So when you identify with your soul and not your body, you are Al-Sufian. Your body is the vessel for your soul to carry out the Lord of the universe's will. He sent you. So Suf represents the divine soul, which is called self, which is immortal, indestructible, and all mind. The soul's true self is its mind, not its body. Again, when you know that, you are called an Al-Sufian American. American is Asiatic on the land. This is the only way. This is the true way, which is why it's the only way. If you can understand and comprehend what an Al-Sufian is, you can free yourself in an instant. Al-Sufian reverses all sorcery. And Al-Sufian, this is very key, reverses all sorcery. So all that you becoming old, that's not true. You don't age if you don't count. The soul never ages. It's a mind. It grows as a plant grows, but its sunlight is knowledge. So as a soul, you can stay a seed, or as a soul, you can grow into a spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So check this. All babies are souls. All adults are spirits. We're supposed to be. You are to grow from a seed to a fruition. The fruition of soul is spirit. That's saying you ripe. The fruit of the fruition.
Yeah.
So we all come as babies called pure souls. In between being birthed into a body, we have, through trauma, through the birth of trauma, lost this connection to our soul because the body has interfered. And so now we need a map, a guide, and a compass to navigate ourselves back to the source. What we used to say, to the Most High. So now we got to understand the Al-Sufian. So the Suf is the divine self that comes directly from the divine creator. Who is the self, or who is the Suf, is the I. Your soul is your I. I self. The self, soul is I. I am. So your I is your amness that you exist. The I is of the soul, not of the body. That's why right in the direct middle of mind, you have I. The I in. The I lives in the mind. The mind divine, MD, mind divine. So all of this is telling you that yourself, which is indestructible, because it's an I, and an I is invisible, has no form, because it's from the I from above, from heaven, from the way, from the divine creator, the dark space you woke up out of. What you call sleep is not sleep. That's called the ion. The timeless region. The timelessness. There's a difference between the ion and the abyss. For those who don't follow the divine creator, is not a Suf ion. You don't follow the self. You follow someone else's self. So in our religious philosophy, the self and the divine creator are one. Again, in our religious philosophy of the Al-Sufian, the self and the divine creator is one. This is why the mind virus was created. This is why they had to figure out through centuries collected to millenniums to figure out how to advance and attack the infantry of your mind. Remember, infant is the soul, the baby. So it's been a soul versus the soulless. People that don't care about the babies. They don't care about the children. They sacrifice children. These are souls. And only spirits are immortal. Check this out. And you have three of these. You have three laws of these. We're going to pull in some divine instructions. Of this religious philosophy. All right. Chapter 12. Jesus explains to Caspar the meaning of silence in the Al-Sufian of Allah in man. This is the wisdom of the Al-Sufian in man, meaning male and female, boys and girls, men and women, father and mother. This is how a child is formed. Now, in the early morning, Jesus came again to teach and heal. A light not comprehended shone about as though some mighty spirit overshadowed him. A Magnus noted this and asked him privately to tell from whence his wisdom came. He asking him this aura he sees. This is what we call an aura, a ta'ara. He wanted to know the wisdom. And he asked, what is the meaning of the light? Now, the light becomes a crucial word because all people who don't know the creator call him the light. See, and he's in front of a person that doesn't know the creator. So he calls him a light in the reference. This is someone of lower degrees, such as Freemasonry. Or we talking about Jewish present. So this is not yet a Brahmin, but yet a Magnus, a Magi. So now it reads that Jesus said there's a silence where the soul may meet its God. Al-Sufian. Did we catch that? It's not the body who gonna meet the divine creator. It's your soul that's going to meet the divine creator. But this is the true meaning of the divine creator. All aha. This is a silence. The word ALLAH is an understanding to get you into this realm called silence. And it's finna break it down why it's silence. Here it comes. There's a silence where the soul may meet is God, Al-Sufian. And there, in the silence, the fountain of wisdom is. In the silence is where the Al-Sufian is. Wisdom, they replaced Al-Sufian with wisdom. So when you're reading your ancient texts and you see the word wisdom, now you replace it. Now you do the replacement and replace it with the true name, Al-Sufian. This is where the Al-Sufian is when he's saying that the divine creator is in your heart. This is what's in your heart. It's a silence. This is where Al-Sufian is of the Al-Fatiha. All who enter are immersed in light and filled with wisdom, love, and power. The Magi said, tell me about this silence and this light that I may go there and abide. More on how to go, how to travel to the presence of the divine. And Jesus said, the silence is not circumscribed. Remember in the opening, the thoughts of Al-Sufian cannot be circumscribed. So now you know what this place is that can't be circumscribed. It's a place, y'all. The silence is not circumscribed. Check this out. It is not a place closed in with walls, plywood, rocky steeps, nor guarded by gates or by bullets and swords of men. See, so it's nowhere on the outer world, y'all. When we talking about the kingdom is within you, this is how you travel to it. Men carry with them all the time this sacred place, this spiritual place. I want to put it that term. Men all carry with them all the time the spiritual place where they meet Al-Sufian. It matters not where you abide, either on a mountaintop, in the deep valley, in the markets of trade, or in a quiet home. You may at one time, at once fling wide the door, the Al-Fatiha, the opening of the soul, and find the house of Al-Sufian. Al-Sufian is within the soul. Anytime we can open wide the Al-Fatiha of the soul. One may not be so much disturbed by noise of business and words and thoughts of men and women. It goes all alone into the valley or the mountain pass. And when your life's heavy load is pressing hard, it is far better to go out and seek a quiet place to pray and meditate. Oh, this is how you travel into the divine. Self lean in. The silence is the kingdom of the Al-Sufian, which is not seen by human eyes. Remember, it said, no one can see God except the pure in heart. The pure in heart. Now you know what that is, the silence. That's the purity. The heart is the place where the silence is. The spiritual place. When in silence, not in noise, not in music, not in talk, not in monologue. When in silence, thought forms may come before the mind, but thought forms are all subservient to your will. All thought forms. This is called redemption. The master soul may voice and thoughts are gone. You know how you in the dark and you shine the light and whatever see that light, they scatter. So do thought forms when in silence by the commandment of your voice. See, this is very important right here because it's through the voice. This is the final vortex that we got to understand how things manifest. To think, you use a voice. To manifest, you use a voice. The voice is so powerful. It's more powerful than a thought. Did we catch that? The voice is more powerful than others' thought. It tells us how to fly next. It says, if you will find this silence, of the Al-Sufian, you must yourself prepare the way. That's the mic drop right now. Concert over. When we're talking about traveling into divinity, it ain't for nobody else. It's for you yourself. You must yourself prepare the way. None but the pure in heart may enter here. Just that silence. Just that silence. And you must lay aside all fears, all doubts, and all troubled thoughts. See, these cannot come into silence. This is what we call in truthful name Allah. Anti of a thought, anti-thought, anti-sound, fully divine. Before thought, before space, before nothing. This is what's called a nothing. The most divine state is called nothing. That's why the AN is represents from above the heaven of nothing. So silence is this nothing, which is compared with analogy to purity. Purity is like space in divinity. But just like you wake up in a space is a place. See, when you pass, that's called going to sleep. When you wake up, that's called you now in a place. So when all souls transition, they're going to wake up in a place. This is why it's key for you to live a certain way in your life, because you are guaranteed to wake up in a place. Just like your body constantly reminds you. So take your body away, and now you live in the heart, called the soul. Your soul is a place. This is why it's considered a plane. These are places that never change. Like land that cannot be moved, these are places that cannot be moved. Your human will must be absorbed. Your human, this the fleshly part, must be absorbed by the love divine. Form must be absorbed by the formless. Sound must be absorbed by silence. Thought must be absorbed by thoughtless thinking. Then you will come into a awareness of the divine self, Al-Sufian. Once your human will have been absorbed by love divine, then you will come into an awareness of the I self. That place you go to sleep in, that is a spiritual place, a holy place. And see, when you wake up in that holy place, it becomes a dream. That's called awakening in the soul, in the plane or the place of the soul. Just like the physical is the awakening of the plane of the body, the things made manifest. See, you're neither the body nor the consciousness that could be stored in the body. You are the self anti and opposite of all. So that was direct lessons if you didn't understand what the Al-Sufian is. So due to these crimes, most people got stuck in the Bible where they became Christians. If they moved through comprehension from the Bible to the Quran, and then you have those that never was read or born in an area of the Bible. All they know is the Quran. They don't know. They have never read the Bible. So all they know is that they what the book tell them, and they are Muslim. So we have Christian and we have Muslim. And if you don't get stuck into these two, which are trap doors, counterfeit spirits, let me, as an Al-Sufian, our word for anything opposite that does evil upon human beings, does evil upon living things. This is what we call people who created mind viruses, who created eugenics, who created vaccinations, who created all these schemes that we did not write, publish, or post. So, in real, truthful knowledge, which is the cure to all mind viruses, this is what's called Al-Sufian. This is what has been given names such as philosopher. This is what has been given names such as scholar, master, teacher, scribe, wise, one devoted to truth, a student of metaphysical and moral sciences, sage, the word sage that represents wisdom, not the herb, a lover of wisdom, the philosopher's stone, skilled in learning, has a philosophy, philosophized, philanthropic, cures, or they call it the universal cure, the all panacea, the all panacea, cures all illnesses, prolongs life, quickens the spirit, equivalent to multiple post-level graduates to a PhD level competence. And a practitioner of therapeutic arts. You know, these are some of the names that's been given throughout ages, perennially through theosophies, wisdoms from times of old. Remember, you must yourself prepare the way.
Mm-hmm.
That's called ontology. Al-Sufian reverses all ontological processes, dealing with consciousness from all extremities into the balance of divine union. See, so if you understand what I'm saying, you will always be physically healing until you understand soul curing. Your soul is the curer of all. Soul curing will heal all physical healing, will heal all physical health. This is the main situation that we have if you don't have the divine creator's name. And so every ignorance was created by a liar. Again, every ignorance is created by a liar. All diseases are lies. I think this is a medical breakthrough, y'all. We need that. We need an Al-Sufian Georgia Peach Prize, because the Nobel Prize comes from the Al-Sufian, the nobles. That's the correct word for Sharifian. Sharifian. If y'all into the depth chamber of high culture of wisdom that we call Sufia. A man who fears Al-Sufian does not honor him. If you fear the Al-Sufian, you do not honor the divine creator. But the demon that told you such a lie. So liars are demons. Now, small to great. This is what the Sufian said. A lie comes from a demon. Not from books. Somebody had to write the book.
Yep.
So the demon was the author.
Get somewhere now.
So this is how you spot a demon. It said, test the spirit. Don't believe every spirit. This is why. See if they of the Al-Sufian. And you know, most people now, they not gifted right now. The divine creator ain't pleased individually. And so Al-Sufian is what we call I-Salam. This is our peace.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, it's a crime to disturb our peace.
Peace, yeah. And disturb.
Disturbing the peace.
Amen.
This is where all that comes from. So now we in our organic, original, individual suit and collectively across the land, we can all agree and now kick all foreigners, because everybody that's members of the United Nations is on your land. And they do not inform you, give you understanding, wisdom, nor knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But they call you black, treat you black, and everything that comes with losing rights and obtaining privileges, they molest you with. So any saying from anyone which claims that in Salom, we're talking like Maya, I have not committed a sin. This is what they happened. This is what happened. This is what happened. They replace important words such as I, so you're not responsible. And now they replace I with thou. And thou means you. And so I, self, is never responsible. It's always you. See the trick? So Maya is what the ancient Egyptians solved their issue with, given the Al-Sufian Fatiha. Matiah and Fatiha is the same. Now, any saying which claims that in Absalom, knowledge and science, knowledge, and science is a sin. People say this. And ignorance is a virtue. People act like this. That ignorance is a virtue. Like this is something to be proud of. To have pridefulness in ignorance. Any of these sayings is a wicked lie by someone who worships demons, pretending to be God. This is all in front of us, y'all. It ain't no spook called Satan. It ain't no spook called a false God that's going to come and save you. You must yourself prepare the way. You brought yourself here. You must prepare yourself. Whenever, therefore, you hear of men and women preaching against science, preaching against knowledge, preaching against understanding wisdom, you know you have discovered servants of demons. Did we catch that? So now that's your biblical prophecy being revealed of the Lord of hosts. The Lord being the demon and the host being his servants. If the demon ain't real, then evil can't spread. If evil is widespread, then there's demons. That's how it works. Any preacher, because you know the preacher preaches, or any scripture that says the divine creator shall burn, shall torture some of his children for eternity. Then these are the sayings of evil men.
Okay.
See how they crept all that in the Bible?
Okay.
Anybody talk about you gonna be tortured, burned
Burning
in
hell.
eternity, calling it hell,
Eternal.
these are sayings of evil men who worship demons, not all Sufian. Hate is a sure way to hell. Not even the divine creator can save anyone who fills their heart with hate. Did we catch that? See, the hate, the heart is the space, the spiritual place. If that's filled in with hate, look where you putting your own self. There's something called the aftermind. This is what becomes your afterlife. I was explaining earlier about the eye and the soul. They live in the heart. So once your body dissolves, you're going to go into the heart. That's why it's a flat line when you no longer present, because you're going into the silence. But you can also come back out of silence. That's why the flat line can turn back into up and down or alive. So this is very key, that not anyone consumed by hate. Anyone who is consumed by hate consumes their own self in this life and the afterlife. This is why those evil sins have been placed there, like as in Gnosticism. For you to feel like you in a prison, to hate your body, to hate the world. You're supposed to love your body and love the world. Those was evil sayings of evil men in those scriptures. Those was false scriptures and false texts. Hey, these words are in there. Only men who love evil, who love demons. See? Demons can be loved. It's people that love demons. This is why evil have spread it. People who love demons and love evil speak of burning people. Listen to people. Speak of eternal torment. Now that should make sense once I say, expel such people immediately from Isalon. We in peace. And they coming with disturbance. Do not allow them to disgrace any sacred place. Then they wrote in Genesis, Abraham to sacrifice his son. These are sayings of evil men. This is why the Bible is half truth and half false. So it can't be 100% true and it can't be 100% false. Check this out. What fool and coward, this is what the divine creator is telling us. What fool and coward sacrifices their son or daughter to please a demon?
Thought about that?
That's what they portrayed
Mm-hmm.
Abraham, our father of America, Abraham, the father of America, as. He did not sacrifice because that's stupid and that's pleasing a demon against the wishes of the creator of the universe. The creator birthed sons and daughters. And then a demon want to sacrifice him. Look, most solemnly, it is the duty of every Muslim of every generation to seize and execute not only every sorcerer of the sacrifice of women and children, but to purge their name, their tribe, their town, and their land from the earth. See, they took our action from religious philosophy, gave us replacement theology, and told you to turn the cheek. Now they did to your ancestors what your ancestors were supposed to do to them for being demons.
Beat you to the punch.
They said it was a witch hunt in America. This is what they doing. They said your ancestors was the demons. This is how they flipped the script. But now over time, you see who the demon is if it's really hung. So we talking about how can evil spread if a demon ain't alive? We talking about Satan ain't no Satan. It's only demons and angels. See, everybody have the choice to either become a demon or angel. Check this out. These people called Persians. These are the people who don't know the true name or the nature of the demons they worship. That's why you be careful. You follow the way, not no man, not no woman. You follow the way. See, these people, these demons lost their faith in the divine creator, Al-Sufian. So these demons cursed all gods, and who, upon gaining their freedom, kicked out of heaven, split into groups with the former priests and scribes, beginning to worship lesser gods, demons, and spirits. This is where we at right now, y'all. If you don't know the divine creator name, Al-Sufian, you are worshiping lesser gods, demons, and spirits given to you by these pagans.
Well, when you use all this, what we've just been read and heard, as a measuring stick, you see why our people can't get up, because the gods that they're serving are demon gods. That's them pagan gods. That's who we've been calling on. Our knowledge been insufficient, and that's why we at the bottom wrong. Now, what you gonna do about it? This is what it's gonna take to do anything about it.
For these are impostors who worship not the divine creator, but serve demon gods who pretend to be the divine. We getting ready to close on out. Allah is almighty. Y'all check this out now. Our self-Lord, Asiatic master, Allah, Ha, is the creator of all things. This is where we get arm, leg, arm, head. And he hates not one of his creations. We close in the name of the Al-Sufian. As-salam, As-salam, Latif Al-Sufian Muweed.